up a good performance against a tough Ecuador side. So we will see who comes out on top. Like I said, here in Kansas City, Tornado Alley they call it, in the heartland of the United States. Both sides out on the pitch. National anthems completed and approaching kickoff at around 7 o'clock local time. Full stadium here and a sea of yellow, but a small pocket of the supporters of the Blue Wave of Curacao, the smallest nation to ever be represented on the world stage as this. Ecuador hoping to put themselves in a position to qualify for the knockout rounds. They've only qualified for the knockout rounds of this competition once in their history. That was back in 2006, and have come into this tournament with high hopes. Second in South American qualifying behind world champions Argentina, and have not got off to that best start. Obviously we're very competitive in that game against Ivory Coast, but unable to eke out the result. Done at the death. So we are approaching kickoff as the two captains, Ener Valencia and Leandro Bacuna, join our referee today, Man Ning from China, in the center, just about to do the coin toss. So as that is happening, we'll run through some team news for you. And we will start with Ecuador. Sebastian Bakaseke makes 2 changes to that side that lost out to Ivory Coast in the opening game. Pervis Estupiñán coming into the side alongside Jordi Alcivar in the middle of the park. So they line up as follows. Hernan Galindez in goal for his 37th cap. A back 3 then. Once again, Alan Franco filling in at right centre back. William Pacho alongside Piero Hincapié of Arsenal. Alcivar sits at the base of midfield. He's joined by Moises Caicedo and Pedro Vita in the middle of the park, with Estupiñán, the AC Milan wing back, on the left, and John Yeboah, on the right. And then Gonzalo Plata joins captain and record goal scorer Ener Valencia up front, searching for his 50th goal for his country, the former West Ham United and Everton man. For Dick Advocat and Curacao, they also make 2 changes to that side, who were very convincingly beaten by Germany, with Urian Gary and Joshua Brene coming into a back 5. They'll line out as follow. Eloy Room in goal again. Joshua Brene at right back. Urian Gary joins Armando Obispo and Sherelle Floranes at the back, with Devron Fonville keeping his place at left back. Levano Comenencia, who got the goal the other day, is partnered by skipper Leandro Bacuna in the middle of the park. Tahith Chong and Bacuna, Juninho Bacuna, the other Bacuna brother, out wide, with Jurgen Locadia leading the line for Curacao. The Caribbean side in all blue today with a yellow trim. Ecuador in their all yellow kit as we get ready to get underway here in Kansas City, Missouri. Second game at this competition for these 2 sides, as Ecuador get us underway, shooting from right to left in this first half. Early touch here for Moises Caicedo, receiving the ball from Piero Hincapié into the feet there of Vita. Nearly gets it nicked off him immediately by Juninho Bacuna, the older of the Bacuna brothers, as it is a throw in over the far side for Ecuador. Into the feet now, Alan Franco, usually a midfielder for Atletico Mineiro, but right of that back 3 alongside Pacho and Hincapié this evening. Here is 2-time Champions League winner with PSG, William Pacho. Now is Piero Hincapié near the halfway line. Out to this left-hand side, Gonzalo Plata has come short to receive the ball to feed into Pervis Estupiñán. And now Hincapié once more. Loose pass over the far side, made Franco stretch for it. And it's out of play, and it will be a Curacao throw over the far side of the field. So down the line by Fonville, looking for Locadia, backing into Franco, and he lays it off. Bacuna trying to make inroads down that left-hand side, but Pacho across and just uses his body, the PSG man, to get himself between the player and the ball and shepherds it out for a goal kick for Ecuador. Short by Galindez from the goal kick. Pacho inside his own area. Over to the left is Hincapié, cleared down the line, searching for Plata. He's met by Brené, but it is off the Curacao defender last, so it will be a throw-in. Gonzalo Plata playing his football in Brazil with Flamengo now. 52nd cap for his country this evening, as Moises Caicedo picks it up deep at the base of midfield, lofts one over the top, looking for Valencia. The Curacao defence is behind Valencia through on goal. It's a brilliant save. Eli Room, first chance after 2 minutes, and it's the Ecuador skipper, Ener Valencia. And you'd really put your money on him to score. Brilliantly picked out by Caicedo. Was in oceans of space in behind the Curacao defence. Look to just pass it into the corner. Room gets a touch to it. It is a corner. Taken on this right-hand side. Will be an in-swinger. Left-footed, low one towards the near post. Cleared by Leandro Bacuna that time. But what an opportunity that was for Ener Valencia. 5 World Cup goals to his name. But couldn't get on the score sheet then. Ecuador still attacking. 3 minutes gone now. Down the right-hand side. Yeboah can't quite get that to go. Tackle in there by Fonville, and it is a Curacao throw-in over the far side. What an opportunity. Valencia onside. Obispo just not stepping up quick enough. Brilliantly picked out, like I said, by Caicedo. Takes a touch around Obispo and then just looked to play it beyond Room, who read it perfectly. Big left hand to it from the Curacao goalkeeper. And behind, and now it's Curacao's time to attack. Chong down this right-hand side, held up by Hincapié. Back into the middle now, as far as Comenencia, but he's dispossessed in the middle. Stupinian with the challenge, and now Pedro Vite out to the right-hand side. Franco down the line for Yeboah. And now William Pacho again. Capier and Pacho, and good start to this game. 4 minutes in, no goals as of yet. Estupinian just shy of the halfway line, just forced back to the feet of Hincapié. Good pressure on there. Brené, who's pushed way up high from his right back position. Vite gets on the ball, swings one out to this left hand side. Valencia chasing it, he won't quite reach it. Out for a throw in. Brené takes it quickly and finds the feet of Urin Gary. Brené again, searching for Chong infield. Hincapié cuts it out, sent up towards Valencia, cleared by Curacao. Bacuna can't quite hold on to it. It's all a bit scrappy in there, and now finally it's Leandro Bacuna in the middle of the park. Fires one into the feet of Locadia, who does well to turn and play it out to the left-hand side. Bacuna now, Juninho Bacuna at the edge of the Ecuador box. Hincapié across to make the challenge. And here come the South American side, trying to carry up the field. Lovely switch of play out to this left-hand side. First chance for Estupinian to get forward into the Curacao half, but he's just overhit that ball to Ener Valencia. Now Eloy Room, goalkeeper, can clear into the centre circle. Pacho across to get his head to it. Valencia maybe coming back from an offside position. Was flag is up on the far side, so free kick to Curacao. What a chance that was. Ener Valencia. Mentioned pre-kickoff, searching for his 50th goal for his country. Really hardly get a better chance. Room with the long clearance from the free kick, flicked on, and Pacho just has to deal with it inside his box. Here's Yeboah now on the right hand side, cuts back infield, looks for a switch towards Estupinian. Brene wins it well in the air, down towards Chong. Heavy touch takes him back towards halfway, but Curacao still in possession. But Acuna stopped in his tracks by Caicedo. Estupinian nearly just caught on his heels there by Chong, but Ecuador have possession once more. William Pacho plays it square to Franco. Toward the halfway line into Alcivar. Here's Plata now, lofts one over the top. Valencia now trying to get the right side of Gary. Holds it up inside the Curacao box, down towards the corner flag. Picks a pass out to the edge of the penalty area. Ecuador just going backwards but probing this Curacao defence. Here's Piero Hincapié. Estupinian. Just forced back towards halfway line. Curacao trying to keep that defensive shape. 5-4-1. Daring Ecuador to break them down. I don't know about the defensive record for Ecuador in qualifying. Just 5 goals conceded in the 18 games. That they only did score 14 though, as Caicedo lofts one over the top again. Obispo deals with that one in the air. Clearance isn't great in the middle from Comenencia. Obispo goes back to retrieve it from his own penalty area. Clears towards the halfway line. Chong, brilliant feat to escape. And Capia now Curacao have the numbers. It's 3-on-2 in favour of Curacao. Chong peels out to his right. Lacati, he can't quite pick the pass. Pacho reads it. Have Bacuna out to his left. Chong just chose the wrong option there. Now Ecuador looking to break. Caicedo out to the right hand side. Yaboa getting forward from wing back here. Trying to take on Fonville. Down inside the Curacao half. Cuts back in field. Here's Vite. Alcivar forward for Plata. He's caught on his toes there by Florinos, who drives forward for Curacao. Still going here as Florinos has Lacadia across with him. Florinos goes himself and drags his shot wide. Cheryl Florinos created that opportunity all himself, driving forward after nicking it. Could have played it to Lacadia, but went for himself. No goals in his 30 caps for Curacao, and it was off target. Long kick out from Galindez. Nice open game so far in the opening 9 minutes or so. Still Ecuador 0, Curacao 0. Room boots it clear toward halfway. Estupinian wins it in the air. Moises Caicedo stretching on the halfway line to get to it. He's just gone down there under a challenge of Comenencia. Here's Hincapié. Just shy of the halfway line. Curacao have dropped everyone inside their own half, as Plata looks to get onto it, but again possession conceded. Obispo now over to Fonville on the left hand side. Does well to exchange a few passes and now plays it down the left hand channel. Lacadia in behind, looks to have stayed onside. Lacadia plays it infield, chance there, and it's a brilliant block by Hincapié on Bacuna. I think the flag goes up eventually against Lacadia, but it was Janino Bacuna who was involved. We see it again, Lacadia just the wrong side of Pacho, so a delayed flag on that, but he played the ball into Bacuna, who did well to hold off his man initially. It was Franco tracking him, and then brilliant block by Hincapié. So some chances for both sides early on in this game. Here's Pacho out to Hincapié. Just shy of the halfway line. William Pacho again. To get his head up and play the right ball, but the only one on is to his right to Franco. Infield to Alcivar. Immediately pressed by Leandro Bacuna. Hincapié on this left hand side. Down the line for Estupinian, who does well to exchange passes with Plata, who powers past a man. Good stuff this by Gonzalo Plata, 25 yards out. Look to switch it back towards Estupinian. It's blocked by Curacao. Ecuador claim handball. Referee Mingna not interested, so we play on. It's at the feet now of Franco once more on the halfway line for Ecuador. Alcivar once more. Here's William Pacho. Into this left hand side. Hincapié ball out of his feet, clips one down the left-hand side. Estupinian chasing. Brené across to try and deal with it, and it's out for a Curacao throw deep in their own half. So down the line for Chong, beaten to it by Hincapié. But it's another throw for Curacao, who did, you have to say, bother Germany in that opening game. Obviously did equalise. First goal in this competition ever on their debut, but really collapsed in that second half. Here's Pacho now. Estupinian peels out to the left as Hincapié looks to pick out a player in front of him. Here's Franco now. Out to the right. Here's Gonzalo Plata. Nice little ball for Yeboah, who's come in off his wing. Yeboah inside the box. Effort is straight at room. Another strike on target. This time it's John Yeboah. Made his first move outside and then checked back inside. Well picked out. Driving run, low effort, straight into the breadbasket. Now Curacao have it in the middle of the park with Chong. Offside flag is up though against Lecadia for the initial layoff. Brené was trying to get forward. So free kick to Ecuador, just inside their own half. Here's Hincapié back into his more normal position of centre back. Obviously played left back in the opening game against Ivory Coast. Moises Caicedo now. Plata comes short to pick it up on halfway. Back to Caicedo. Franco down the line for Yeboah. Yeboah now having to take on Fonville. Tight to that right hand touchline. Yeboah drops the shoulder, drives past. Low cross into the middle is blocked though. Plata picks it up at the edge of the penalty area. Forced back a bit. Finds Hincapié. He wanted Estupinian to stay wide, but he came back in field, so it's Caicedo. Clips one over to Franco. Every Ecuador player now inside the Curacao half. Yeboah and Plata do well to combine there along the right-hand side. Into the penalty area. Strike on goal. It's wide. It was Pedro Vite who had that effort. Nice combination at the edge of the box, and then Vite gets in, looking to bend it with his left foot into that top corner, but it is wide. And Sebastian Besakeke looks on. The Argentinian manager of Ecuador. Now, header back from Hincapié, just about reaches Galindez with Lecadia lurking. Now, here's Estupinian. Ecuador trying to attack along this left-hand side again. Hincapié over to Franco. 15 minutes gone. Still goalless here in Kansas City. Previous game here in this tournament, of course, saw Lionel Messi score a hat-trick against Algeria. We'll host a few games, including a quarter-final, as Ecuador pick it up again in the middle. Caicedo inside the centre circle. Pacho stepping out from the back. Plays it to his left. Hincapié. Pacho once more. Thought about the switch of play, but just keeps it simple to Franco. Ecuador just trying to be patient in possession here. Pacho receives it from Caicedo out to this left-hand side. Estupinian. Hincapié's made a move forward. Estupinian comes back in field instead to Plata, and then gets it back once more. Clipped forward towards Vita, made a run from the middle of the park, but it's cleared by Curacao. Chong wins that header, and then it's fired into the feet of Lecadia, trying to pick out Chong again. This time Hincapié was alert to the danger, and possession is with Ecuador again. Nice little reverse pass from Caicedo. Plata now driving into the box. Plata still going, just overran it. Curacao get the challenge in and clear up towards Tahith Chong. Brené really industrious run there from Gonzalo Plata, just didn't quite have the end product. Here's Comenencia now, gets his pocket picked by Caicedo, and it falls to the feet of Plata again, who just swung a boot at it, but it's an easy save for room. You have a Curacao player down. It is Livano Cremencia from that challenge from Caicedo, who did win the ball. But Cremencia obviously felt the effects of that. As you see that chance earlier on from Florinus again. Just pulled a shot. Man playing his football in the Netherlands with Pex Volla. And Ecuador have had the majority of possession, have forced room into a few saves, but Curacao posing a danger on the counter-attack. And it is still 0-0 here. Gary now. His clearance is closed down. Caicedo looking to seize onto it in the middle. Beaten to it by Comenencia. Back with Curacao again. Chong unable to be picked out. One in the air by Vita. Up towards Lacadia for Curacao. And then back to Leandro Bacuna. And then here's Florinus again. Curacao just trying to have a bit of possession. Lacadia comes short. Bacuna now, Juninho Bacuna this time. Holds off his man and finds Brene. Nice little pass infield, and now Curacao can drive forward with Comenencia. Brene outside, Comenencia going himself, strike is deflected, comes back, Chong trying to get the effort, blocked again, still might be there. Chong with a second shot, and Pacho again in the way. But again, we have a late offside flag there. Curacao though, nice move from them, playing their way through the middle of that Ecuador midfield. Getting themselves into good positions. Here is Moises Caicedo. Square to Alcivar. And now Pacho. Once again, Curacao just drop everyone in behind the ball, and there Ecuador to try break down through that low block. Ecuador had 8 0-0 draws in qualifying for the tournament, so this is a scoreline they are very familiar with. So despite that brilliant defensive record, have struggled to score goals. In fact, that loss against Ivory Coast was their first defeat in 20 games. Impressive record. Now, want to get going here. There's Pacho again in the middle of the park. Franco out to the right hand side. Here's Yaboa now infield. As far as Valencia. Pacho out to Estupiñán. Lovely little first time ball around the corner. Hincapié gets his head up. Low ball into the middle. Valencia straight at the goalkeeper again. It's another sniff at goal for the Ecuador captain. Lovely move along the left hand side. Estupiñán and Hincapié combining. The Arsenal man with the ball into the box. Valencia just gets the touch on it, but not enough power behind it, and Eloy Room equal to it once more. Hincapié. That's it, Estupiñán again. Caicedo's ball through the middle eventually finds Yaboa. Now here's Estupiñán out to this touchline to Plata. Lovely football. Estupiñán gets it back. Plata looking for it down the left-hand channel. Good challenge in there by Obispo, and then cleared by Gary. Only as far as Hincapié on the halfway line. Pacho, Ecuador just zipping the ball about with a bit more purpose here. Franco enters the Curacao half. Vida comes short for it, but he goes instead to Caicedo, and Pacho gets his head up, looks to slip it in behind for Estupiñán, but that was well read by Yuri and Gary. Now Chong gets dispossessed in the middle of the park, looking to loft it over the top. Valencia chasing it. He'll get there before Gary. And Valencia down towards this corner flag. Has support in the form of Vita. Ecuador, again, just hold on to possession in the middle of the park. Out to the right-hand side now. Franco has a chance to step up and get a bit of pace into this attack. Yeboah wide onto his right. Just goes one way, then the other. Yeboah stands across up to the back post. Estupinian is there. Head away by Brené. Still comes. Strike on goal there from Vite. Gets it all wrong. Just comes off the side of his boot. And then Fonville plays it against Plata, and it's a goal kick. That was half an opportunity, though, for Ecuador. Really good play. As we see that Ener Valencia effort as well. I think Florinus got a touch on it too before it went to room. The South American side are pressing. And a bit of a high boot in there from Leandro Bacuna, who's penalised. Going for that ball. Alongside Vita. Just a bit of a high boot. Chinese referee Ming Na quick on the scene to it. Now here's Hincapié. Though referee will pull them back to take the free kick in the correct position. Pacho goes short. Here's Yeboah infield now. Cross into the middle. It's cleared that time by Obispo. Sent back in by Franco. Headed away by Bacuna. Caicedo picks it up in the middle of the park down the line for Hincapié to chase, but Comenencia will get there first for Curacao. Down near his own corner flag, hassled and harried by Piero Hincapié. Now Ener Valencia joins in the pressure, and Ecuador look to have won it back. They have, but another good challenge from Comenencia allows Curacao to clear. Lovely first touch there by Locadia. Chong now up to Bacuna, who nutmegs Pacho, who just stands in his way and commits the foul. Lovely bit of skill there, Juninho Bacuna. Right in front of the Ecuador dugout. Just silkily plays it by Pacho, who then stood up and committed the foul. But we've hit 23 minutes, which means it's time for the first hydration break of the game. So 3-minute stoppage here in the middle of the first half. It's for two sides to get fluids on board. 28 degrees presently in Kansas City. So get hydrated. Obviously these breaks have been the subject of much discussion throughout this tournament. But Ecuador players just receiving instructions from Sebastian Besaquete. Dick Advocat, of course, the oldest manager to ever manage a team on this stage. 78 years of age, Dick Advocat. Obviously resigned pre-tournament due to some family health issues, but then came back in to take charge just before Curacao began their endeavour in North America. And it was Fred Rutten who he replaced. But has obviously a tough job motivating his players from that heavy defeat. They were it's the heaviest defeat, the 7-1 against Germany, suffered by a debutant since 1954 when Hungary beat South Korea 9-0. Although they have shown flashes of quality, particularly on the counter-attack in both games, and no fear either. And with the wily old veteran Dick Advocat on the sidelines, you never know what could happen. It's 0-0 here at the beginning, at the middle of this first half, excuse me. Although Ecuador have had the good chances, particularly the Ener Valencia one, after just a couple of minutes where he really should be hitting the back of the net. A man of his caliber and goal scoring record, but unable to go beyond Eloy Room. Had that other effort as well. as did Gonzalo Plata. Flurry of yellow shirts in the stands, in the ground. Just a little pocket of blue behind the goal to the right. The Curaçao are currently attacking. And can they give their fans something else to cheer about? Great scenes when they equalised against Germany in Houston on the previous match day. And they've acquitted themselves well here so far in the opening 26 minutes or so. Obviously conceded a few chances, but Eloy Room, 37-year-old, playing his football in the United States with Miami FC. His goal has yet to be breached. So we'll resume with a free kick on this right-hand side for Curaçao. Brene plays it infield. Here's Obispo. And now Gary. Infield to Leandro Bacuna. Forward for Lacadia. First time layoff to Chong. This is better from Curaçao. Chong's pass, though, just cut out momentarily by Yeboah, but Fonville eventually gets on it. Now Florinus. He's had half an opportunity for Curaçao as well on the counter. It's all the way back with Room, who goes long towards Lacadia. Big target man is the former Brighton and Hove Albion man. Now also playing with Miami, but here come Ecuador on the counter-attack now. Lovely little layoff that time to Valencia. Strike from the edge of the box. It was Gonzalo Plata again. Lovely football from Ecuador to create the chance. Yeboah and Valencia involved, combining at the edge of the Curaçao box. It eventually found its way to Plata, who hit one from just outside the 18-yard box. But it's straight at Room. Yeboah just took a knock there as he laid it off. Vantage play, he's back on his feet now. But again, Ecuador just getting closer. Another save forced. But it's still scoreless here. Curaçao go short now. Obispo, Florinus trying to play their way out from the back. Fonville immediately closed down that time by Franco, and now it comes to Yeboah, although referee has blown his whistle. And now obviously he found something illegal with that challenge on Fonville from Franco. So it will be a free kick to Curaçao, halfway inside their own half on the left-hand side here. Bomb forward up towards Lacadia, who wins another knockdown, this time to Brene. Can't quite find Chong. Ecuador throwing some challenge in. It comes though, look, comes towards Bacuna, who had an effort from outside the penalty area. Gets deflected behind, and it will be a goal kick. Initially looked as though it was a corner, but Juninho Bacuna not shy to have an effort. Winning his 51st cap today. Bacuna Jr. 15 goals in that time, just needs one to draw level with his brother. Here's Estupinian now for Ecuador. They look to play out from the back. Risky ball into the middle. It's cut out by Bacuna. Lovely little layup back to Bacuna. Sits down the defender. Still going. Pulls it back to the penalty spot. He's looking for his brother. But Alan Franco in the right place at the right time to intervene. And now Ecuador looking to counter. Ball over the top toward Gonzalo Plata. Good defending in there by Obispo. Gets his body in the way and clears up towards Chong. Possession conceded now. Alcivar for Ecuador. Vita holds off Bacuna. Advantage played out towards Yeboah on the right hand side. Squares up Fonville. Back inside onto his left foot, and now Vita again. Here's Alcivar. Really good play there by Leandro Bacuna. As the cross comes in from the right hand side from Franco, looking for Valencia. It's beyond him, hooked clear by Brene. And Ngapié will pick it up just inside the Curaçao half. Forward for Estupinian. Nice pass infield as far as Plata, laid back to Caicedo. Ecuador coming forward again, this time with Yeboah on the right hand side, taking on Fonville once more. Goes on the outside. Yeboah down towards the end line, just checks back onto his left foot. Fonville tries to cut out the pass, but he's nearly found to Vite. Good strength in there from Bacuna to win it back, but they've conceded possession. Again, Curacao. Ecuador can't quite find the right pass though. And it's back with the Curacao defence, who it's a poor clearance there from Gary. Just put it straight out of play for an Ecuador throw-in. But then Caicedo can't quite control it. And it will be a Curacao throw. All a bit messy there. All of a sudden, as we see that piece of defending from Obispo, vital touch in there, otherwise Plata would have been in. Really, really calm defending by the PSV man. Just his 8th cap today. One of those drafted in the final 4 qualifiers. And possession is given away by Ecuador. Here's Bacuna, a little pirouette in the middle, doesn't quite work out. Cleared by Hincapié toward the halfway line. Valencia can't hang on to it. Lovely play there by Fonville down the left-hand side, making inroads, just pulls it back. Bacuna turns, strike towards goals, deflected, and Galindez can come out and claim it. And Juninho Bacuna, following that effort, has gone down inside the Ecuador penalty area, holding his left knee. Couldn't quite see what the issue is. Ecuador have put it out of play. Bacuna looks in a bit of pain there. He did well to receive that defeat from Fonville and then swivel in the box and right-footed effort towards goals. Pacho in the way. I do wonder if he twisted that knee ever so slightly. But he is down. Juninho Bacuna. His brother, the skipper, comes to check on him. Penny for Dick Advocaat's thoughts here. Juninho Bacuna just being attended to by the Curacao medical staff. Just over 10 minutes to go till the end of the first 45 minutes, as he will have at least 3 added on for the water break. But Juninho Bacuna may need a stretcher here, so Dick Advocaat could be forced into an early first half change. Not who he'd want to take off. As I said, winning his 51st cap today. Juninho Bacuna. Only 4 others in the squad, only 3 others, excuse me, in the squad have appeared more. So we will resume. Curacao will throw it back in and give it back to Galindez. So Curacao temporarily down to 10 as Bacuna still receives treatment. Ecuador trying to take advantage of that. Out to this left hand side, Estupiñán. Midfield to Alcivar, Caicedo. Now Franco forward for Yaboa. Here's Pacho. Ecuador really squeezing Curacao, defending the edge of their box. Hincapié on this left hand side. Has Estupiñán outside him. Here's the former Brighton man. Back infield to Caicedo. Now William Pacho. Ecuador searching for an opening here. Left to Hincapié. Thought about the cross, but no really options other than Ener Valencia in the middle. Pacho, 35 yards from goal. Little pass infield. Finds the feet of Vida, who tried to play it on forward towards Plata, but Curacao just get enough bodies around it to eventually hack it clear. Ecuador will come again though. Moises Caicedo on the halfway line. Looking ahead And then driving forward into the small bit of green in front of him. Here's Plata. Nice it to Yeboah. Back to Franco. Again, Ecuador just patiently trying to probe this back line. Bacuna is back on the field for Curacao. So they have their full 11 again. Ecuador still in possession inside the half of the opponent. Galinda is the only Ecuador player not in Curacao's half of the pitch at the moment. Out to Hincapié on the left hand side. Estupinian ahead of him. Tries to play up with Brené across to make the block. Throw into Ecuador, level with the edge of the 18-yard box along this left hand side. Estupinian fires it into the feet of Valencia. He goes down under a challenge. Referee says play on. Curacao clear through Brené, but it's over Lacadia's head. And Ecuador now searching for this opener before half-time. Caicedo. Pacho. Careless ball from him. It's straight to Chong, and now Curacao can counter. Chong. Bacuna peels out to the left as Chong is brought down in the middle of the park. First yellow card of the game goes to Jordi Alcivar. Cynical foul from the Ecuador midfielder. Just as Curacao were counter-attacking. It was a poor ball from Pacho straight to the feet of Tahith Chong. Leading that counter, and Alcivar just clips him from behind as he was carrying it forward. Fairly well warranted yellow for Alcivar. Free kick to Curacao now, right in the middle of the park, just in the Ecuador half of the field. Clipped forward by Leandro Bacuna, headed clear by Hincapié. Chong picks it up 30 yards from goal, but he's dispossessed, and now the counter is on for Ecuador. Gonzalo Plata along this left-hand side, brought down by Bacuna, and soon after the first yellow card for Ecuador, it's Leandro Bacuna who finds himself in the book as well for Curacao. Another sort of cynical one, stopping a counter-attack. So he picks up a booking. And it will be a free kick. You see it here again. Plata just knocked it by him. And Bacuna just stood there, made contact. And I don't think he has too many complaints about that one. Now, here's Plata on the ball again. Over to Caicedo. Here's Yeboah. One-on-one with Fonville again. Can he take him on? No, he'll just come back as far as Franco. Pacho now sweeps it out to Vida on this left-hand side. Estupinian. Vida again, lovely little ball. Estupinian in behind, tries to square it. Good defending. Brené just gets a touch on it, and it's into the arms of Room. Estupinian looked like he'd escaped from Joshua Brené there. But fullback just did enough to get back and get his foot to it. As Lacadi goes barging into Hincapié, he concedes the foul. As they went long from the goal kick. Caicedo. And now out to this left-hand side. Vite seems to have switched out to provide an option here on this left wing. Lofts one over the top. Estupinian looking to get in behind, but Room quick off his line. Gathers that one. Trying to involve Purvis Estupinian more here, Ecuador. Certainly favouring attacking along this left-hand side. Long clearance from the goalkeeper, met by Franco, and now Caicedo picks it up in the middle. Here's Alcivar. Out to Yeboah. Lovely to go past his man initially. Bacuna there, though, to make the second challenge. Still there for Ecuador, though. Here's Franco near halfway. Caicedo again. And now Hincapié. Estupinian. As they try again tacked down this left-hand side. Infield to Caicedo. His Plata lifts one over, looking for Valencia. Just get a cop behind him. Work to the edge of the box. Strike on goal, saved again by Room. It was Yeboah this time with the effort. Curacao claiming a handball in the build-up from Valencia. Ecuador work it down the left-hand side again. They get a bit of a lucky bounce. It comes to Yeboah, who hits one with the left foot. But once again, Eloy Room up to the task. And we're still scoreless. With just under 5 minutes of regulation left in this first half. Ecuador searching for that opener. Estupiñán, infield now, Vita. Valencia comes short, picks it up, and now Caicedo gets it out of his feet under the intentions of Juninho Bacuna. Franco out to Yeboah once more. Infield back to Plata, but they've given it away. Franco there though to pick it up again. Curacao just living dangerously. Plata, little ball in behind Valencia, won't quite reach it. Outstretched was the Ecuador captain. Put his foot out, couldn't quite reach it on time. And Curacao again clear. They're just pinned back here a bit by Ecuador. They look to come forward again. Space now opening up. Yeboah thought about the strike, but just held up by Comenencia and Bacuna. Bacuna then holds off Caicedo, and Comenencia can drive forward into the middle, plays it out to his left. Lecadia gets there before Pacho needs support over on that left-hand touchline. Pacho goes out to meet him. Lecadia just trying to stay on his feet. He has won a throw in. Jurgen Lecadia looked for a moment though as though the pass was on, the little reverse pass was on, but Curacao just looking for some breathing room really. Now a long throw in from this left-hand side. It's Florinos up towards Lecadia. Caicedo wins it in the air for Ecuador. Comes back to Florinos. He hooks it into the chest of Comenencia. Bacuna combines with Bacuna. Brené now. And Juninho Bacuna shaking off that early injury. Hooked forward by Gary. One down by Franco, so Ecuador in possession again. Pacho this time goes long, looking over the top. It was Estupiñán who made a move from the left to try and get it, but once again, Room equal to it. There's Obispo now. Entertaining first half here, approaching the end of it, still 0-0. Ecuador with much the better chances in this game so far. 6 shots on target. They forced 76% possession, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard yet. Florinos over the head of Lecadia from the throw-in. Caicedo across to beat Bacuna to it. Cleared by Franco. He's found the feet of Gonzalo Plata, who's done well to turn Florinos and create a bit of space over on that right hand side. Goes short to Yeboah, who nearly left it behind him there. Now it's Caicedo. 40 yards from goal. Hincapié on this left hand side now. Estupiñán wide on this touchline. Here's Purvis. Estupiñán back inside for Vita. Estupiñán again. Nowhere to go. Curacao quite disciplined in their defending at the moment. 4 additional minutes here at the end of this first half. And Ecuador find the breakthrough before half time. Yeboah infield to Alcivar. Now William Pacho again. Ecuador working hard to try unlock this stubborn Curacao defence at the moment. Moises Caicedo gets his head up, clips one down the left-hand channel. Estupiñán the target once more, but once more Eloy Room comes out of his goal to claim. And Urian Gary with perhaps a bit of a risky shoulder into the shoulder of Estupiñán. But referee says just to coming together, as we see that Yeboah effort from a few moments ago. Good two-handed save from Room. So, goal kick from the Curacao keeper. Cadia the target again. Once more though, it's too long for him. Caicedo clears for Ecuador. Ener Valencia does really well to win that flick on before he's brought down in the centre circle. Referee says fairly though. Comenencia for Curacao. Out to Brene on this right hand side. Drops the shoulder, carries infield and now plays it outside to Xiong. Here's Hati Xiong. Infield, Comenencia slips a challenge, goes for goal himself. It's a dribbling effort, never really caught hold of it with the left foot. Searching for his second goal in as many games. Ivano Comenencia. But that effort was never really bothering Galindez. Still counts as Curacao's first shot on target though. Here's Alan Franco now, halfway through the additional 4 at the end of this first half. Ecuador 0, Curacao 0 in Kansas City. Both sides looking for their first points of this competition. Capie. Estupiñán. Infield to Gonzalo Plata. Round the corner from Vite and then Capia. Again, still Pedro Vite. Trying to combine with Hincapié along this left-hand side. Goes back to the Arsenal man. Deflects behind. Doesn't quite go out of play though. Room again. Quickly off his line to prevent that from conceding a corner. Pumps one long towards Locadia again. Holding off Estupiñán, who eventually gets his head to it. And is penalised for clambering along the back of Locadia. So will be a free kick to Curacao right at the end of additional time here in this first half, and it's in a decent area as well. We'll see that Estupiñán holding back Locadia, although I will say centre forward does a good job of making sure the referee saw he was being held. But a chance here for Curacao. Free kick along this right-hand side, about 40 yards from goal. It's Leandro Bacuna standing over it. Ecuador having to defend the edge of their own penalty area at the end of this first half. Just a one-man wall. Bacuna, 2 arms in the air. A few blue shirts looking at the back post. Bacuna delivers this towards that back post. Free clip into the middle, and the ball was played back. It only found Moises Caicedo, who's then loses possession. In fact, Ener Valencia, he's brought down by Comenencia. It's Valencia. Curacao furious. They feel as though Comenencia got the ball, but the free kick has been awarded. But it was a free man at the back post there that got the touch for Curacao. I think it was Florinos, and just needed somewhere on the penalty spot to tap home. But that is the end of the action at the first half. At half-time, it is Ecuador 0, Curacao 0. And it's the South American side who feel like they should be in front. Ener Valencia with a golden opportunity just 2 minutes into the game. Played over the top by Moises Caicedo. Through on goal, but his effort was saved by Eloy Room, when you'd really expect the skipper to put it into the back of the net. Gonzalo Plata and John Yeboah have also tested Eloy Room, and Valencia went close again from close range, following a nice cross from Hincapié. Curacao have looked dangerous in places on the counter-attack. Florinos and Locadia potentially going close. They've had to defend for a lot of the first half, but their goal remains unbreached after the first 45 minutes. Half-time scoring, Ecuador 0, Curacao 0. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the second half.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Welcome back for the second half, everybody, between Ecuador and Curacao. With half-time swap for Ecuador, Jordi Alcivar has been withdrawn and the player's on a yellow card, and he has been replaced by Kevin Rodriguez. So a bit of an attacking change for Ecuador. We'll see how that affects their lineup. Let's see how it affects their shape as well. Let's see Plata drift over to one of the sides, but we're almost ready to go for the second half. Curacao unchanged. Room, Brene, Gary, Obispo, Florinos, Fonville, Camenencia, Bacuna, Chong and Locadia for them. Galindez, Franco, Pacho and Capier, Caicedo, Vita, Rodriguez for Ecuador, Yaboa, Estupinian, the wing backs, Plata and Valencia up front. We're back underway. Curacao tip off, shooting from right to left in the second half. So immediately just played straight out of play by Curacao. Looks like they've it's going to be a flat back four here. Ecuador. Rodriguez through the middle as it switched out towards Estupinian. He's beaten to it by Brene. Estupinian just gets a toe in and Benji wins the throw over on the far side on the halfway line. Infield now Plata, bringing more of a number 10 role here. It looks like Franco forward for Yaboa. Now Moises Caicedo trying to dictate things from deep, as we know he can and often does. Here's Capier, now Rodriguez. Pedro Vida square for Caicedo again. Lofted forward by the Chelsea man towards Rodriguez. It's over his head though and behind for a goal kick. So Kevin Rodriguez wins his 33rd cap today. 2 goals in those 33 appearances. Playing his football in Belgium and Union Saint-Gilloise. But it will be a goal kick now for Curacao. Eloy Room, 37 years of age, made 6 saves in that first half. Really good performance from him. As Locadia gets the better of Caicedo, comes out to this left-hand side. Fonville can't quite get beyond Franco. Plata just lays it back to Pacho, and now Capier. To the left-hand side to Purvis Estupinian. Vita gets on the ball and lays it to his midfield partner in Moises Caicedo. Vita once more. Estupinian wide on that left-hand touchline. Looking for the return pass to Vita, but it's read by Camenencia. Then Chong carrying it forward over on the right-hand side. There's Brene for Curacao. And Camenencia just forced into a corner there by Kevin Rodriguez, working really hard, the Ecuador substitute. Camenencia nearly down near his corner flag, eventually hacks it clear. Last touch is off the Ecuadorian. So it will be a throw in. Rene to take along the right hand side. And it's given away here in the middle. Caicedo. Out to his right is Alan Franco. Now William Pacho over to Capier down the line for Estupinian. Infield here for Vita. Forward for Rodriguez, who's taken out from behind. Referee plays advantage. In fact, didn't give it a foul at all. Estupinian couldn't quite reach it. It's out of play for a Curacao throw-in. Ecuador not too happy with that on the Chinese referee, Ningma. But we will play on. Curacao play it forward through Chong towards Bakuna. It breaks here for Fonville. Carrying forward into the Ecuador half. Good challenge over there though by Franco. And it's Ecuador in possession again. This time Caicedo, and now Vita comes short for it. Over to Hincapié. Carrying forward with intent. Out to Estupinian. Left foot across into the middle. Gets deflected. Rodriguez though picks it up on the end line. Gary for company. Lays it back. Picks a nice pass. Caicedo now 25 yards out. Gets a strike away. It's good save by Room again. Caicedo is looking for that bottom corner. We know we can hit them. But Eloy Room again scampers down to his right and claims that one. Well worked by Ecuador. Again, struggling to find the net. Vide forward. Rodriguez. Plata, turns and unleashes one from way out. Gonzalo Plata gets that all wrong. Off his left foot. As we see that Caicedo effort once more. Heading toward the corner, but still relatively down the middle. Routine save for Eloy Room. He kicks it out up towards Lacati again. Caicedo does brilliantly to win that header. Rodriguez lays it off to Estupinian. Down the line now for Ener Valencia. Valencia cuts back infield onto his right foot. Stumbles slightly and then concedes possession. Chong back to Brene. Up towards Lacadia. Pacho beats him to it. Picked out in the middle now. Here's Moises Caicedo for Ecuador. Trying to establish an attack here with Yaboa down the right hand side. Infield, left foot across into the middle. Ricochets off a Curacao defender, Gary. And just about kept in play. Rodriguez got a touch to it. But Room again. Not to be beaten this time. As he pumps it clear. One in the air by Franco for Ecuador. Battling for the second ball is Chong. It breaks eventually to Comenencia. Out to the right hand side. Brene hassled and harried by Rodriguez and overruns it. Throw into Ecuador, taken quickly by Estupinian. Rodriguez now coming the other way. Down the left hand side, surrounded by blue shirts. Goes down under a challenge. Referee says free kick. Urine Gary, the man, penalised for that. He's furious with the decision, but I think he just got there slightly late. Just a little forearm in the back of Rodriguez, who certainly made an impact since coming off the bench. So free kick here for Ecuador. Over on the left hand side near the corner flag. Chance perhaps for Caicedo to swing it in here. Pacho and Hincapié up from the back. Ener Valencia lurking. Rodriguez and Plata joining them as well. Curacao just defending the edge of their own 6-yard boxes. Caicedo gets ready to step up. The movement Caicedo delivers towards the near post, headed away that time by Lecadia. Might come for Vida again, he can't control it. Lecadia lofts it over the top now. Chasing it is Bacuna, he won't reach it. Franco in the way. And then Bacuna penalised for a challenge and a yellow card shown. So that's both Bacuna brothers in the book for Curaçao. Just late there, Janino Bacuna on the challenge. So Ecuador free kick along this right hand side. Franco and Vida standing over it. They leave it for Caicedo. Places it down. Launch this one into the middle. Once more, Hincapié, Pacho up there, ready for this ball. Caicedo steps up, right-footed, outswinger, gets a flick on at the near post, trying to reach it. Is Plata just gets underneath it. Angle was tight. He blazes it over the bar. It's a bit of a lucky bounce eventually on it, but swiped at it. Bit of a wild effort from Gonzalo Plata. And it's another goal kick, and Ecuador just becoming a bit frustrated by this stubborn Curaçao defence. And Eloy Room as well in great form this evening. Still plenty of time for them to find a breakthrough. Lofted over the top now for Rodriguez. Look, brilliantly taken down, and he's found Yeboah. Yeboah left-footed cross into the middle. It just won't quite reach a teammate. Estupiñán scampers back to pick it up. Here's Ener Valencia, back to Vida. This is better from Ecuador. Franco wants it along this right-hand side and gets it out to this far touchline for Plata, running at the fullback. Plata down to the end line. Fonville with the touch on it. Corner kick to Ecuador. Curaçao fans in the crowd convinced it was a goal kick. And referee has eventually amended his decision, so it is a goal kick. We've seen that a few times in this competition. And upon replay, it is obvious last touch is definitely off Gonzalo Plata. Good defending from Bever and Fonville on that occasion. Really solid performance this from Curaçao. They've conceded another free kick, and this time it's another yellow card. It's Comenencia who gets booked. A bit of a high foot in the middle of the pitch. So that's all of a sudden 3 yellow cards in the middle of the park for Curaçao. Both Bacuna brothers and Comenencia just late and high there on Vita as the ball was coming down right in front of the referee as well. And wasted no time in whipping that yellow card out. Interested to see if Dick Advocat may just try change it in the middle there. He's running the risk. Ecuador now attacking down the left hand side through Purvis Estupiñán. Just forced back into his own half to Caicedo. Estupiñán again goes to the feet of Rodriguez. He loses out though. Now Chong can carry it the other way for Curaçao. Little pass inside. Here's Bacuna. Curaçao racing forward as the blue shirts come. Bacuna going himself, goes for goal. Poor decision from the skipper. Holds his hands up in apologies to his teammates. Rare venture forward in this second half for Curaçao. And Bacuna's effort just goes harmlessly wide. Here's Alan Franco now for Ecuador. Caicedo trying to stay patient. Hincapié forward for Vida, cut back infield, and Caicedo picks it up once more. Hincapié again. No real urgency in the Ecuador attack at the moment. Estupiñán, little ball inside, finds Vida nicely. Plata back to Vida, loose ball there though. Although possession is turned over by Tahit Chong, so it's Estupinian from the left-hand side, cross into the middle, headed away by Obispo. Chong trying to control it again. Comenencia with the header, and Plata seized in and stolen it there just from under the nose of Brene. Can't quite get the cross in. He recovered on time, did the fullback. Just lost concentration momentarily. And it will be a corner kick. Did well to recover. So Ecuador continue to pile on the pressure as we approach the hour mark. Still scoreless here in Kansas City. Caicedo with the corner from the left-hand side. Right-footed in-swinger. Goes towards the far post. Hincapié trying to get onto it. It shuffles in the middle, headed on, saved again. Sent back in. It's Room with the brilliant save. And Curaçao clear. And now maybe the counter. Juninho Bacuna steps inside, but it's a brilliant tackle. He wins it back though, Bacuna, and now has options out to his right. It's Locadia chasing it over on the far touchline. Locadia just slows it down and finds Comenencia in the middle of the park. Space on this left-hand side for Fonville. If he can find him, he can. Here is Fonville. And now Florinos into the feet of Bacuna. Little 1-2 Bacuna. Good save by the goalkeeper. Might come out. Back towards Juninho Bacuna. It does. Cross to the edge of the box. Comenencia. Can he strike? He can. It's saved again. It comes back out and it's deflected and eventually it's cleared. Oh, what drama inside the Ecuadorian box. Two big save by Galindez. One from Leandro Bacuna and then from Locadia as Ecuador scrambled it clear. They're still on the attack with this long throw in. End-to-end stuff here in Kansas City. Brene ready to launch this one into the middle. From the long throw in. But Galindez hasn't had anything really to do all evening. But it's just pulled out a really good double save there. As they've worked another throw in here, Curaçao. Can they find a breakthrough against the run of play? Brene throws it in towards Bacuna over his head. Galindez comes out of his goal and claims it, launches it forward, looking for Ener Valencia, backing in to Florinos, who does really well to win it back. And now Chong on halfway, drops the shoulder beyond Estupinian. Into the feet of Locadia. Comenencia just has it pocket picked there by Plata. Now Ecuador on the attack along the left-hand side. It's Ener Valencia. Rodriguez in the middle. Valencia going himself. It's straight at Room. So from a chance at one end, Room pulling out the save from the header. Curaçao go down the other, and then it's Bacuna and then Comenencia with the effort. Locadia's shot is blocked. And now Room pulls off another save. Fairly routine one, you'd have to say, from Ener Valencia. End-to-end stuff, though. Really picking up here in the second half, although it's scoreless. Has been entertaining. Caicedo now forward for Rodriguez. Estupinian space on the left-hand side. Hincapié joining the attack. Estupinian instead goes to Vida at the edge of the box. His return pass is a poor one, allows Chong to intercept. And now Chong driving forward, leading the counter-attack for Curaçao. Juninho Bacuna out to his left. Down towards the edge of the Ecuador box, tries to cut in field. Stopped in his tracks by Vida. Now Ecuador coming forward with Plata, lays it to Valencia, gets it back out to the left-hand side. Rodriguez now one-on-one against Gary. Rodriguez onto his left foot, strike on goal, goes for the near post, it's wide. Kevin Rodriguez looking to catch out Room. As we see those flurry of chances again. It was a header from close range from Gonzalo Plata. Big two hands on it from Room, and then the Curaçao efforts. Lovely little flick from Bacuna. Exchanges passes with his brother and then goes for the near post. It's a good save from Galindez, and then when it's recycled, back to Comenencia. Room gets down to his left to parry away. Ecuador still coming here, just beyond the hour mark here, still scoreless. In Tornado Alley in Kansas City. In Capier. 15 attempts on goal for Ecuador. 9 of those have been on target, but Eloy Room has stood strong in that Curacao goal. Here's Alan Franco, right foot across into the middle, is closed down by Juninho Bacuna. Corner kick incoming. Continue to fight for this. We saw a veteran goalkeeper get man the match in another group stage game with Vozinho at Cape Verde. Can 37-year-old Eloy Room follow in his footsteps? Still a long way to go. Over 25 minutes plus additional time remaining. Corner kick from this right hand side. Plata to take. Ecuador poised, delivered into the middle, header flicked on at the near post, and then couldn't reach it. Was Moises Caicedo. It was Rodriguez with the initial touch as the ball was fired in, and Caicedo coming around the back just couldn't reach it. Too much pace on the flick, and it's a goal kick. Room up towards Locadia. Pacho away. Only as far as Bacuna. Fonville gets around his man. Fires it up towards Locadia again. Pacho uses his body well and just nods it back to Gaindez. And now William Pacho once more. Into the middle for Vita. Here's Alan Franco carrying forward along this right hand side. Yeboah an option outside. If he can reach him, he can. Here is Yeboah. Little 1-2 with Gonzalo Plata. Yeboah again, left foot across, deep onto the back post. Valencia with the header. It's another brilliant save from Room, keeping him out. Brilliant bit of movement from the Ecuador captain. A lovely cross to the back post from Yeboah. Went to the near post. Valencia with the downward header, but again Eloy Room, two hands, tips it around the post. Corner kick. What a performance from the Curacao goalkeeper this evening. And Valencia has been denied on 3 occasions now by Room. Caicedo with the corner kick, in swinger with the right foot into the middle, header on goal. It's another save. It's still there. Valencia blocked on the line, header on goal, and Room gathers again. Unbelievable defensive stand from Curacao. What defending from the Blue Wave. We're just seeing that Valencia effort again that resulted in the corner, but first one punched clear, and then Valencia headed back towards goal, cleared off the line, and then another save straight into the arms of Room. Unbelievable stuff here. Really, really entertaining game, even though nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Here's Capier. Can Ecuador keep going here? Rodriguez. Out to Estupiñán, inside to Vida. Rodriguez, Estupiñán continues his run on the outside. Instead, Vida comes inside. Caicedo's pass is cut out. Locadia now trying to start a counter. He's stopped by Pacho. Here's Capier. Vida cross from deep. Rodriguez, lovely first touch, spins, volleys towards goal. It's cleared. Chong now escapes a few tackles before being brought down. Free kick and bit of a reprieve for Curacao. We see that chance again. Header on goal. It was Rodriguez. Valencia then had his effort cleared off the line. And then the header from Pacho straight into the arms of Room. But brilliant goalkeeping from the Curacao number 1. 73rd cap today as the hydration break comes for the players. It's his 10th save of the evening. Unbelievable from Eloy Room. And it is still somehow 0-0 in Kansas City. Eloy Room with an unbelievable display in between the sticks for Curacao. Made his debut all the way back in 2015. 37 years of age. And at the moment, as Dick Advocat talks to his players, he has his goalkeeper to thank. You'd have to say none of them have been spectacular saves, but they're saves he's had to make. You could maybe argue that the one early on in the game, after 2 minutes from Ener Valencia, was a really top drawer save. But what he's displayed since then has been simply incredible. Brilliant, brilliant goalkeeping from the Curacao man. Just seeing some of these